What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. This video, though, is entitled Rebels and Weirdos. Did a video a minute ago about going out last night, and my homeboy was telling me, it's a lot more weirdos out there than it used to be. And something happened that proved that damn point. And here's the thing. Some people are rebellious and some people are just weirdos. And I think in society is running, we conflate the two populations as if they're the same because they both are, how can I say, are eccentric in a way. The rebels are people who just don't conform to traditionalism, and the weirdos are people who, in a sense, don't conform to traditionalism. But rebels don't conform as far as lifestyle. Weirdos don't conform as far as looks. And, for me, I put it into that free-spirited category, and I don't like free-spirited people. Not because they're free-spirited, but because they have a tendency to be irresponsible. And being around them is always going to cost you more than it costs them because they're so free-spirited that they're not going to stick around to clean up the messes that they make. So I've noticed, because I go out sporadically and spontaneously rather, so I might not be at the same place twice, unless I really like the joint. But I'm not going to be there to the point where you remember me. I'll come back. If you remember me the last time, then you just got a good memory. But you go out in society, people have weirdo tendencies. The dress code is weirdo. It's not rebellious. The hairstyles are weirdo. That's not rebellious. Now, the tattoo culture, when you look at the tattoos, you can tell if somebody's a rebel or a weirdo because, when you got cartoon characters tattooed on you, you got a little too deep into the cartoon. That's some weirdo stuff. You sitting there tatted up, you looking like a gangster from afar, but you got Goku sitting there on your arm, man, like weirdo shit. Is that the Dragon Ball emblem that you got tatted? You see that? Is that Akuma's, tattooed you got? You notice that, huh? Jesus. But other people are rebellious. Okay, I see. I just don't want to fit into, the culture of the norms, and my homeboy was telling me, man, and a lot of times his ideology when it comes to things are ahead of the curve when it comes to me because we look at things completely differently. So he sees things in a completely different way, and when I'm like, I don't see that, it comes to pass, And he was like, well, the thing about people who are weirdos is they feel liberated. That's why they're doing it, And I thought about that. It's just like dressing up. When you're dressed to impress, your attitude changes, your confidence changes. You're liberated from feeling average to feeling above average. This is why people say image and presentation is important because it can uplift your self-esteem and it liberates you to not feel, mediocre. Now, the thing about that is also this. When people are being a weirdo, I get what he was saying. They're liberating themselves from the norm. They don't feel average and mediocre and they don't feel, they feel like they stand out. Now, the problem that I started to see and why I don't like it is I don't like free spiritedness, but when it comes to rebels and weirdos, it's an overabundance of rebellious and weirdo culture to the point where it's not really rebellious anymore, and it's not really weirdo anymore. It's become a norm, and so now you're kind of following. You're a traditional rebel or a traditional weirdo. It's not anything new, right? And the thing about it to me is it's so point to a point where people are trying to bring their rebel culture into the mainstream and their weirdo culture into the mainstream, and people are still like, look, why don't you have your culture is big enough to have your own space? Like, no, like you didn't want to be traditional, you didn't want to be in these situations, so why you gotta bring your rebelliousness where I'm at now? I mean, you brought it out so much that society made a space for it. You brought it out so much that society made a space for you weirdos because people can connect online or offline, you know. But that ain't good enough. But being a rebel or a weirdo will never be mainstream because of what I said earlier about free spiritedness. Because the reason why traditionalism is mainstream and quote unquote family values and conservatism is mainstream in America is because that is the one population who consistently will clean up their mess or not create a mess or may clean up somebody else's mess. Using a political term, liberals don't do that. Liberalism isn't about that. Liberalism is just like superhero movies who tear up the whole city. They saved the day, but they tore up the whole city. Now they get to go back and drink a beer. You know, people homeless, houses on fire, puppies hanging in trees because an explosion shot it. You know, then shot a puppy off into a cedar, and you know. But hey, we came, we saw, we conquered, we defeated the problem. Now let these conservatives clean this all up because we're liberal, and that's part of being, you know, a rebel, and to a degree a weirdo, right? You notice, you know, using that because I'm using those references because, you know, to a degree, Comic-Con culture can be looked at as weirdo culture. So I'm using references that are like, you know, animation and stuff like that. I'm into that stuff, so don't trip. But here's the thing. Even Batman didn't clean up the city. And he had the money as Bruce Wayne. You know, sometimes he fixed stuff, you know, but it looked like sometimes Batman would tear some stuff up. Bruce Wayne to buy it because the property value went down. I'm just saying. You little slick weirdo. But when you out in society, people do weirdo stuff. I was watching John Wick. I mean, my aunt was talking about that. You know, the scene when he sat on the couch and the guy just sat right next to him. And he had to get up and move. I see that more and more often where people just, you know, rub people the wrong way by being weirdos and want to take that everywhere. And see, that's different from being a rebel. A rebel will come, somebody who's rebellious will come make you uncomfortable because they're looking for an altercation. A weirdo is just making you uncomfortable and I guess for their own self-liberation, but the altercation that they're going to get is not what they intended. So a lot of people are crossing lines and stepping on toes that aren't really ready for the fallout of doing that. And thus, quick story before it's over. So me and my homeboys talking in a restaurant. We leave the restaurant, so we outside in the parking lot, cracking up, talking. Young fella comes by. He's on the phone. We think nothing of it. He walk by. Walk back. On the phone. Okay. Think he going back in. Walks around. Then parks his behind. He's walking, but he parks in earshot and eye shot of us on the phone. Ear hustling and eye hustling while he's supposed to be on the phone with somebody else. But he paying attention to our conversation. And I kept looking at him, and I was looking at my homeboy like, what's wrong with this dude? And this is how the weirdo conversation came up. To the point where I was like, man, all right. We had a whole conversation, 10, 20, 30 minutes. We outside just catching up. So we say goodbye like brothers do, dap each other up, give each other a hug. All of a sudden, when he sees that, time to cut off my phone and walk back in the building. And I'm looking at my homeboy like, he's like, there's a lot of weirdos out here, man. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because there came a point I was going to confront the young man. Like, what are you doing? Like, damn, like, I can tell you really not on the phone like that. I can tell you just out here as some damn spy for I don't know who, because I don't know you. So, and I can see that happening with a lot of the ladies when they go out and guys, he's creeping me out. It is what it is, but I'm done with this one. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.